I think we as church musicians really have to uh, realize and open our eyes that being a musician has, if we admit it, has distracted us from actual spiritual growth and going forward in the Lord. The congregation uses our music as a platform to connect with God, but the very music that we're performing and playing, I think some of us has failed to connect with God with the very music that we're using to help others to connect in the spirit. You see, sometimes we see the actual worship session as a gig or an event, and it's a shame that in my life I've never had any spiritual mentoring or encouragement from a fellow musician. We can talk about the band and the music and the games, boxing, etc., football all day, but I've never had any real spiritual education and development from a fellow musician, unless that musician was a minister or pastor as well. My father taught me my musical skills. He was an amazing musician. He played the guitar, the bass, the keys, and the drums, and he taught others to play that. But then he's a fantastic mentor and father and spiritual tutor and guider, you see. And I find that when I'm amongst and in the company of other musicians, it's not much difference than being around secular musicians. And I'm beginning to realize my years of being in a worship team has really been a distraction from growth, because I've always found it difficult to connect whilst playing, to really worship in my heart while playing at the same time. And it's a tragedy because so much time has been spent into developing my music, but unfortunately it's been at the detriment of real spiritual growth. And I've seen so many musicians come and go, musicians fall, musicians struggle, fall into sin, etc. And we all influence each other, we all lead each other astray and mimic and copy each other. And we struggle, we battle with stuff as men. And I understand that the music department will always draw and attract men. And sometimes there's more men in the band than there is in the pew. Because church don't deal with this stuff. Church don't deal with the stuff that we go through as men growing up in the church and providing music, providing Christian entertainment for the congregation. We're kind of a dying breed. We're dying spiritually, but we're there anyhow, providing music, providing a service. But are we really doing it as unto the Lord? Are we growing spiritually? Do we look at a church from a musical standpoint or from a biblical standpoint? Which is why I've had to avoid and stay away from so many churches, because I want to grow spiritually. I've played for too many years and been dying inside, dying slowly, depressed, fed up. And to be honest with you, if I was to look at music from a church playing mindset or standpoint, I'd be even more discouraged, because I like songs that's produced and complex songs and songs that challenge me, where I can get to do a few things and practice some of the things I've been practicing. But I've learned to have a very wide mindset and a wide outlook when it comes to music. So there's church music, there's secular music, there's my own music. I spread myself wide. so not to get frustrated, to be pigeonholed and to be locked down into one sector. Because let's face it, church music can be very stagnant and very predictable. And for a very creative specimen, a creative musician like myself, I'm always going to be longing for more. And then you get that classic conflict in the soul of wanting to perform and wanting to minister. But besides all that, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to be living one life outside and then coming into play and putting on a church performance, having that church etiquette. I really think that musicians are dying spiritually. They're barely saved, barely hanging on, barely knowing the Lord. They put the music before everything else, before their very soul. Their playing has a price tag on it now. Their time has a price tag on it. It's such a shame because in the beginning it wasn't so. So as I move through the jungle of the gospel music industry, in recent days I've cut away, hid away, pulled out to try and find myself and to try and examine my life, and wondering why I've slipped back so much into spiritual decay and spiritual depravity, trying to move forward so I don't lose my soul while I'm providing musical excellence to the masses. This is Nigel Bennett from the UK. Have a fantastic day.